All right, everybody. So we are moving on to the next assignment. Going to go ahead and start that conversation. And this assignment will focus on pet food packaging. And you all will be designing a bag for pet food because these little containers, this type of packaging is the bag. All right. So if we think of pet food by the numbers. The global pet food market was valued at around 83 billion in 2018, and that number is expected to grow at an annual rate of 4.5% between 2019 and 2025. So causes of that growth are increasing consumer awareness when we're concerned with natural and organic pet foods. This has forced manufacturers to shift their focus from synthetic to natural products, which have acted as one of the major forces impacting the global market. So better ingredients, better items for your pet equals overall healthier pet, and we're going to go out and purchase more of this food. So this market, when we talk about the pet food market, this includes pet food, wet and dry dog food, cat food, whatever, pet treats, and pet flavored supplements. So anything from like the beef flavored vitamin chews or whatever. All three of those things make up this market, but pet food itself does take up a large area of that. And then we think about the key players. Obviously, the animals themselves aren't purchasing the pet food. Again, this is a, human adult based purchase. But we do think of pet owners of various ages. So, families with pets. So moms and dads that have children that have also have pets. And then we think of senior citizens with pets, maybe married senior citizens or, elderly senior citizens who live by themselves who have a pet for companionship. And then we think of those married couples that exclusively have pets and no children, the ones that, have the fur babies. I currently fall into that category. But this group specifically, if it's someone who treats their animal like as their child, they are extremely concerned with pet health and pet vitality. And, not that all of these groups aren't concerned with those things, but those particular area, anywhere where the pet is like the be all end all in the family dynamic, those pets tend to have the best of the best. Think of single individuals with pets, so just, college kids with cats, or young professionals who have a dog. And then also we have veterinarians and pet healthcare professionals who not only recommend products, but they endorse certain products. For example, a lot of veterinarians highly recommend the Hills Science Diet, and that is one that is highly revered. It's sold and if you go to your vet, a lot of times they will sell and carry it, but it's also sold in Walmart, Target, pet stores. You can purchase it anywhere. It is a little bit as far as costs, thinking of these higher end things. It is a little bit more than the other food, but it also has those added values and supplements. So, thinking of pet health, and this is important to think of when we consider how we're communicating attributes of the pet food. Not all pet foods are created equal. There's a large focus on natural ingredients and less fillers and byproducts right now in pet food. And then we have to think about special diets. So, food by breed, food by stage of development. So, puppy and kitten food, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, senior pet. A pet shouldn't actually eat the same food throughout their lifespan. As they change, their food will change. For example, if we're thinking of puppy and kitten food, the size of the kibble is considerably smaller than what you would give a full size adult animal. Senior pet, and then we also think about other specialties. So, animals that have certain allergies, skin and stomach sensitivity, etc. Food that is catered toward these particular niches. So let's take a closer look at our primary display panel. So this is the Hills Science Diet, and I want to use this one as an example because this is one that's in the market. You've probably seen it or heard about it. They do pet food. These that you see here are for different dogs, but they do pet food for dogs and cats. And so you guys will have the option to create for either dog food or cat food. As long as it is a bag for either of those, you're good to go. So with the Hills, and let's talk about the product line because although you all aren't designing multiple bags, I don't want you to think of this as a one-off. I want you to think of if I were going to design this bag for multiple product lines, how could it be changed up and how would it function if it had a different image, if it had different information. I want you to think as if this could potentially be part of a system, part of a product line. So thinking of how we're using our primary display panel. When we're talking about Hills, they use largely, and when you go into the store, for the most part, the bags, especially the smaller bags, I can't remember what ounce size they are, but the smaller bags are lined up on the shelf like this. So thinking of that product recognition, a lot of times, you look for a product and you go directly to it because of the picture or because of the color. So when we're talking about, for example, here, if we look at the Small Paws, this is for an adult dog. You'll notice it says Small Paws Adult 126. And then we've got the Hills logo, and then Science Diet is the particular name and brand of this food. And then we also have that it's veterinarian recommended, so that endorsement. And then we have in the top right corner here, we have a little blurb that talks about the good work that Hills does with the money that they make. So helps 9 million shelter pets find a forever home. And then there's information about that. So kind of buying for good and giving back. When you buy this product, you're not only doing good for your dog, but we also donate money to to help other animals. And then we have kind of our attribute and romance copy, tailored nutrition for small and mini dogs. And then at the bottom here, we've got a little marker that says no, not artificially preserved, no synthetic colors, no artificial flavors. So we're denoting that those are natural ingredients. We've got some other information here. We have a picture of the kibble itself, and then this one is the flavor, lamb meal and brown rice. And you guys will notice that changes across all of these panels. So you'll notice here the larger kibble, and so we've got a slightly larger image. We've shifted the layout of the label around there a little bit. But notice how the information shifts just a little bit depending on the image and the content. Okay. One thing that we've done here, you'll notice they've got these really beautiful pet portraits. They have photoshopped them out, put them on the white background. And so your Photoshop skills, especially with how you treat your imagery here, will come in handy. So don't just throw an image on there. Really think about how you work with the image. So taking another look, you guys will be designing all areas of the bag. So the front, the back, and the sides. And we need to be concerned with not just the front and back, but occasionally these bags, especially if it's a larger bag, is going to be laying on its side, or maybe even this end is turned towards the consumer. So we need to be able to recognize the brand, the type of the food, who or what it's for, from all ends of the package. So we need to make sure that we're indicating what it's for on each panel. And then on the back, we have some of that legal required copy where we list the ingredients. We have extra attributes and functions of what's in the food. This one in particular, we're showcasing the photo that they use primarily. We've got the little dog icon to indicate that it's for a dog, but then we've got these lovely little illustration icons to show what's in the food. But primarily, we have this large, really beautiful photo of all these natural ingredients to indicate that this is what the food's made with. It also indicates flavor. So this is lamb, with brown rice. And then we've got the little tagline, complete food for adult dogs. Thinking of endorsements, we've got the little gluten-free badge there. And then on the side panel here, we can see more information about the product as well. So let's take a closer look at this. This is more of those rustican. You will notice the images and colors change slightly to indicate flavor. This one we've got duck, fish, and puppy junior. And the images, we're changing out the images to indicate who and what this is for. And we're changing out our little brand badge there slightly by changing the colors. And so we've got rustican, great food, great life. So we've got our name and our tagline, and then we've got to indicate that it is a dog. Right, here's some more. So thinking about dog versus cat food packaging, they all look very similar. It just depends on who you're communicating to, because dogs and cats obviously have different nutritional needs. So think of here, if we look at the Go packages, again, whatever you design, you should think of, if I made more than these and there was more products in this, how would this function? Okay, so approach it from that area. If you want to do more than one bag, you can, but I'm only going to require you guys to do one bag design, or at least turn in one final bag design. You may wind up having multiple concepts. So this one, again, we're using, think about whether you use color or black and white photography as well. That from the previous talk that we had last week, you noticed how much of a difference that makes depending on how you treat your images. So we have the black and white images, we have the name, the brand name, and then we have sensitivity and shine. So this is the function, what the food is for. And then we have the little green panel that talks about the flavors and the ingredients and attributes. And we've got the little icons here for the cat. We've got little puppy. This one is for adult dog. So changing imagery slightly depending on who and what the food is for. If we take a look here, this is the little cat image, and then we actually have two images here. We have the cat, and then we have, what is in it. We've got some little icons also indicating ingredients. Fairly simple color scheme, but we also have things going around the panel as well. So again, considering the imagery, this one we're using illustrations for adult cats. So we are indicating that it's for a cat. We have, again, little icons for the ingredients. We have the little kitty and the big cat to indicate that it's for all sizes. And then here we have an actual photo image of the kibble itself. Now, thinking about how you combine, illustrations versus photos, this project leans very photo heavy. Also, if you went fairly illustration heavy in the previous assignment, I would encourage you to really kind of lean more on your narrative of photography usage this time instead of just all illustration. This one I thought was really, really fun. We've got the little dog sitting at the dinner table, give me my food, and then when you turn the package around, it not only has information, but it's got the back of the animal. So I thought that was just super clever and fun. But again, indicating, so even if this was turned around on the shelf, we would still be able to slightly recognize this little dog and know that this is his silhouette. So again, thinking about being able to find things regardless of which panel is displayed to the consumer. And then over here, so focusing instead of necessarily the pet itself, focusing on what is in it. So we have this almost photorealistic illustrations for the chicken, the fish, and the lamb. And this is a Purina brand. And then here in the little band up here, we're indicating that it's for a cat or a dog. So we've got the word cat and then the little cat icon and then dog and the dog icon. So really communicating more ingredient centric there. And a couple more options when thinking about imagery is cropping the image. You don't necessarily have to use the full image. This brand WAG, uses the different types of tails, dog tails, cat tails, for different parts of their packaging. And you'll notice, depending on what the product is, that image changes. And then also thinking about, we have again good quality images of the ingredients here. And then we actually have an owner and his little one-eyed dog, his little pet. And this particular brand puts their customers on the product itself and tells their little story. So just kind of adding to that visual storytelling. And again, thinking about call out information, complete, grain free, food for dogs, small breed. So we've got, the little small breed icon and then adult. And then we've got some other little icons as descriptors there. So, shelf appeal. Thinking about all these other brands, when you go to purchase food, this is what it looks like. So you'll see, thinking about how you use color as an indicator, color to find a product, and how you use images. Like if we're looking for, just even looking at these pedigree bags, if we're looking for a specific thing, I go directly to this little dog. I know that's what I'm looking for. I get it. Right? So, really understanding how images impact purchases. And then, like we talked about here, these are all displayed. These are the smaller bags displayed vertically, where the primary display panel is the front of the bag. But notice you can see information from both sides of the bag as well. And then taking a closer look at the bottom of the bag, these are larger bags, so these are bigger than the bag size you'll be working with. The bag size you guys will be working with are the ones that are usually featured up here. But still thinking about visibility and being able to find the product no matter which side it winds up on the shelf, because these guys are primarily recognized by what we would consider to be the bottom of the bag. They're using that panel to really communicate. And then if you go and you pull it off the shelf, you can see the front of the primary display panel and really understand, what you're purchasing. So there we go, you guys. Just some things to get you kicked off thinking about this assignment. I highly recommend, if you go to the dieline.com, they have a whole category dedicated to just pet packaging. Not all of it is food specific, but I highly recommend that for any of package design research and inspiration, but especially for this assignment because they have a complete category. So that is dieline.com, sort by category, pet food. All right, so let's get started, you guys.